What do you think he's doing by doing these tariffs? All these companies like Ford, Chevy, all these guys using foreign steel, all these clothes manufacturers, they're getting it right in the ass, and they asked for it. I don't even see why people are freaking out. It's the funniest shit to watch. But we're seeing a lot of fair weather MAGA. I'm loving it.
All right, let me go to Mark and James for their closure here.
Well, this was fun.
James, we can make it quick. Mark, are you even awake? Yeah, that's what I thought. Go ahead, James.
This was fun.
I would like to know that Mark is currently not around. All 700 of you, please take note. Unfollow him. Blot it up. I'm obviously joking. But
Mark, my stress relief. I just go around petting horses in the field.
There it is.
I pet these horses. These horses love me petting them. Horse girls, they laugh at me.
I could just play that all fucking night. We don't need Mark as a co-host. We can just play him and the retarded horse all night. Love it. James, go ahead. James, got a show coming up at 11, right?
Yeah, I'm going live here in 15 minutes. So, but yeah, it's been fucking fun and hilarious, and I got out all my aggression, so it'll be a good show.
Good stuff. And it's 12 minutes out, so where can they find you?
Just click on my profile right here because I go live on X, Rumble, Twitch, DLive, CloudHub. We're picking up TikTok here soon. So just click my profile here and then you can find all my links. You just watch it live right here on X.
Good stuff, James. I'll watch that. Mark, I'm going to hope you came back from the bathroom or the fridge and you're not there. Okay, for those of you that don't know what the Enola Gay is, you're about to find out.
Brown, like a lighter shade of brown, and they're going to. They have an admixture of both. Like that, you have to admit that is the mestizos are the
hot cocoa
status quo.
For me, it wasn't about a religion or denomination.
Your nature is the same.
Anyway, I don't want to mix up the Nuda does what Nuda wants with implying that would lead to salvation, because in theory Nuda could do what Nuda wants and it could be perfectly aligned with God's will.
Yeah,
My point.
I don't want to do what I want. I want to do what God wants me to do. And any mistakes or things that I make in my life because of me like doing what I want is not something that I'm proud of. But no, I don't want to do what I want simply because I want that. I want to have a teacher. I want to, but I don't. And so because I don't, I like seek different people to learn from. And I listen to the way people behave on this app. If somebody behaves a certain way, I'm not going to take what they say to be the truth. I'm sorry, I can't separate it. If you behave a certain way, if you speak a certain way, and then you start speaking about what you call the truth is, I'm not going to trust you. I can't. But I listen to people on here too. I listen to what you have to say and how you behave. I listen to how Melissa behaves. Other
to your mom, I'm going to New York?
My mom didn't know I was in New York.
Well, where did she think you were going? You live with her, right?
Yeah, I didn't tell her.
Okay. Were you acting against her will?
Live on X.
And if so, is that a disobedience to your parent? And are you violating the principles of Islam? And then how can you say in the same breath that I want to protect Islam and I want to live by its simple principles when obedience to parents find out that you were in New York?
So Ryan, I don't really want to engage with you right now. Because I feel like you're being messy.
I'm not trying to be messy, but I'm just thinking like I'm hoping that you didn't find out when after you got lost happened. You've been days missing.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
not-
also
that's
weird,
not
so
the-
it's likely being streamed, of course.
It's not being. Shut the fuck up. I've never streamed anything. No,
Edmund
see,
is
Edmund's
here.
But that's not the point. The big point I'm trying to say is
No,
I already know the answer.
I agree with you.
I already know that if you had told your mom, she would have said, "Don't go." I already know that. You don't even say disobedience to parents, whether she knew or not. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I was going with the whole thing.
No, I know. I know. That's why I didn't want to.
And that's the same, by the way, with Christians. Honor thy parent is one of the commandments.
No, I agree with you.
It means the same thing, obedience to your parents. Now, everybody knows in Islam that a woman can be rebellious against her brothers and her father if it's against Islamic rights. Like if they're doing something that violates Islamic rights.
Impressed.
Well, I mean, listen to me all the time. We're cynics, all you guys. I hear you guys.
Interesting.
But
Well, cynic is an interesting case.
he's a what?
He's a Salafi, so there's nothing wrong with being Salafi.
There's nothing wrong with being here, man.
Salafi is just, what did you say, Melissa? So I don't agree with that. Well, the Salaf is just the first 3 generations after the Prophet and following them. But it's just a stricter interpretation of certain things.
Yeah, like why? Like there are a lot of people who Latin women.
Everyone's
Yeah, and I don't know. If you don't want to fuck them, like that is just weird. It's certain. It's like why? It's not worth it.
The German ones in South Brazil are attractive.
Yes, it's a problem.
Like okay, but what about the big titty, big booty Latinas?
I don't like how they take everything extremely literally. There's no interpretation in anything. They reject any form of modernity at all, basically. They believe their view is like the purest form of Islam, and that any form of democratic government is completely incompatible with Islam. They're almost intolerant, basically, in most other groups, including Shia, Sufis, other Sunni sects, which is why you also see different extremist groups. They're typically Salafi for a reason, because they have these extremist views. And Wahhabis are also horrible. And the Muslims that I've seen be the worst on this app have been Salafis or Wahhabis. I've seen them treat other groups of Muslims horribly, and I've definitely seen them treat women like they're the dirt beneath their shoe. Call them, cuss them out, call them bitches, all of this sorts of things. But I don't see regular Sunnis or regular Shias do that. I think they are mostly misguided men who are seeking something in their lives and they think they're doing the right thing.
Order. They're seeking order.
And why do most of the extremist groups within Islam end up being Salafis and Wahhabis then? What do you think Jolani's ideology is? Do you think that's regular Islam? If that's, you think that's just some moderate version of Islam? In Syria, what he's doing right now? No, he's an extremist.
The insanity ends tonight. Order. There's a new sheriff in town.
Is there?
His name is Jesus Christ. And his power comes coming. Tell us, you know that.
His name was Jesus of Nazareth.
He's the Christos. He's the Logos.
How many what percentage of Americans do you think his last name is Christ? Like Leonardo da Vinci. How many people think his last name is Da Vinci?
I thought the last name was Da Vinci.
No, that means from Vinci, the town of Vinci.
Okay. What do you think Della Vega means?
From whatever. Yeah, like also a lot of those people. It wasn't until say 1600s that we started to adopt
And you know why, Yaakov?
last names.
Can I blow your mind on this? We did it because of the Jews.
Yeah, the emancipation of the Jews by Napoleon and other kings.
No. The German kings ordered it because you guys were scamming and moving from town to town and changing your names. I'm telling you, man. You gotta look into the history of this.
I haven't studied it well. It's not because of that.
Sounds like a projection to me if I ever heard one. Right, Robert? Mr. Taylor.
I like how that was the first time that jumped in there.
Hey, Doge.
I'm telling you. This is the reason. And again, it comes back to this disorder thing. And I get it, right? Too much order, and you get goose steppers. I don't like it either. But I mean, what are we supposed to do? Goose stepping, you know, like you get armies of darkness. You know?
Goose stepper.
You never heard the term goose stepping morons?
No.
How about you, Yakov?
Yeah, the Nazis were the biggest goose steppers.
Right.
This must be an old person thing. I've never heard of a goose stepper.
You know how they launch their foot forward, their whole leg forward, and
I'm
do the
gonna
march?
look this up. I'm gonna see where this goose stepper comes from.
How do the goose walk?
The geese?
Yes. What's good for the geese is good for the gander.
It's a derogatory term for someone who performs a goose step march, which is a military marching technique.
Yeah.
And it comes from Prussia, widely adopted by the Nazis.
Right.
That's why I said the Nazis are the ultimate goose steppers.
Yeah. You should see
Oh,
the
you
irony.
mean how they marched?
Yeah.
The irony of
Well, no,
not being
regular
military.
Regular marching was just like we march, but there are ceremonial marches and special units at this highly exaggerated march.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I never knew they had that.
So anyway, so the point is, let's call that the extreme level of order. It's almost like a backlash to anything, any art and any, improvisation in life. But that's what happens. But if we've got people running around going to other towns without an escort and running wild, like monsters in the night, like someone's got to come in and say, the shit stops here. Like, this isn't a cartoon. You're not Daffy Duck. You're not, bouncing around piano keys and you know what I mean? Like so it's like someone's gotta lay down the boot.
That was so good. I love Daffy Duck.
But that's not real life. That'll get you killed. That'll get everybody killed. You will literally lead the enemy back into our home base and get everybody murdered.
But these groups didn't come, Diego, to save Islam or something. That they didn't spread through their own volition and validity.
Jesus, everybody assumes the
They spread
worst.
mostly during the 70s because the CIA and Saudi Arabia were funding the different schools, these fundamentalist schools that were teaching these two schools of thought, Wahhabism and Salafism, and it spread after that because they were trying to fight the Soviets. We literally created these extremist groups. We maybe didn't create the ideology to begin with, but we definitely funded and spread it to the point of what it is today.
I don't agree
These
with
groups
Bradley
would
saying
not have been as widespread if it wasn't for us and Saudi Arabia.
I mean, I agree with that statement, but I don't agree, for example, that the fundamentalists in Iran were funded by us. I think that they are a reaction to
No,
our
they're not.
meddling.
No. Wahhabism and Salafism is not in the Shia school. It's not in the Shia sect.
No,
So
I'm
that's
saying
different.
the CIA orchestrated a paid coup in Tehran, which is like, imagine 10,000 Noras on their worst day running around burning shit.
Oh my
Right?
god.
And
You
like,
have to ask yourself,
what were the Islamic Wahhabis supposed to do?
if
What
we
are they supposed
never
to just
got
say, oh,
involved in Iran in the first place, would Khomeini ever have come to power? Because he was originally exiled by the Shah for ever saying anything against him, and the Shah became increasingly more authoritarian.
No, the Shah spoke out against the Jews, and that was what got kicked out.
And what do you mean? He was in line. The Shah was in line with Israel and the U.S.
You clearly haven't seen 60 Minutes, girl.
The Shah of Iran. Yes, he
Yes.
was. He was very aligned with the West. He was trying to make Iran more and more westernized, and he was also aligned with Israel.
I'm telling you.
Khomeini spoke out against him, and then he exiled him. He lived in Iraq for like about 10 years. And Khomeini spread tapes through like underground channels of his views, speaking out against the Shah, and eventually ended up overthrowing him.
The Shah had a split personality when it came to the Jews. It made life very good for them comparatively. He internalized, probably learned from his father, who was chummy chums with the Germans around that time.
And his father was made to step down as well.
Yeah, so he bought into all the tropes of the Jews throughout the centuries, and he really didn't know any better. His interview is quite the.
But you do know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, put all the stories into the computer. He predicted AI before AI was predictable. He's like, put them all on the computer. We'll see what the computer decide. Yeah, he knows. Oh, right, control the government, control the banks, control this, control that. It's just stereotypical tropes that have no basis in reality. He was saying that out of one side of his mouth, and the other side he was making it okay for Jews to be Jewish.
They're totally lunatic fringe thoughts, and yet we must shut it down immediately. Remove him.
But do you know, before the Shah came to power, do you know who helped him come to power to overthrow the previous dynasty? You know who backed him to do that?
Let's see what.
The British.
CIA. Well, the CIA.
No, it was in the 20s. It was the British.
Oh,
They helped him.
The last shot.
Yeah, the first one. They helped him overthrow the.
Put all the stories into the computer.
It was
He predicted AI before AI was predictable.
dynasty. They had been ruling for a while, a few hundred years, and their government became quite weak. And they, like you said, they had issues with their oil sector, and they had foreign loans that they weren't able to repay. So it was obviously in the British best interest for them to be gone, and some other power that they could control would take over, which was, what the Shah was, the first one. And then later on, that first one had to step down, as we all know, and then the second one came into power. But then when he was the
But it seemed quite so discriminating a moment.
you have to ask yourself, if they had never meddled, if the British had never meddled,
Jews
what would it look like today?
But I've seen too many good men die for cause. Come on, a young girl be killed for sport. You're a military hero who ordered the Knight's Cross with oak leaves and swords for gift. You're responsible for the attempted
People
escape of
also
an enemy of
forget
the state.
that at the time,
By the
in the 70s,
mutineers, conduct of the land.
Khomeini was actually popular.
Decisions.
because the people were unhappy with what was happening in the country. You know, Shaw was not running the country very well. The economy wasn't going very well. He was trying to make it westernized fairly quickly. I know they passed around all these pictures of women who, are happy in the clothes. There was a very quick kind of liberalization that not everybody was happy with. And there was a type of constitutional reform that was passed, voted on by the people after committing to power, and then asked them if they wanted to vote in common sense. And the majority voted yes. Now maybe their opinions have changed over time.
I know I was wrong. Whatever Tony Soprano wants me to do, thank you. Tell Tony it will never happen again. I swear. Underwater, make sure it's cold. So this guy's still on the phone? I think you should go see him. Maybe I should send him something.
Governments assassinations we've helped or even committed ourselves. Even reading the JFK files and rereading about how many times we tried to assassinate Castro by employing the help of the Italian mafia. It's just crazy, you know?
Good evening, everyone. This is Clubhouse Customer Service, just checking in to see if you've taken your medication for the evening to confirm that you're no longer suffering from Jewish derangement syndrome. Viva la causa! Jewish derangement syndrome is an ongoing... I can't read the whole thing.
I'd help you.
It's cutting off. But viva la causa. What's everybody doing the rest of the night?
Can you go into chillism and interrupt concrete again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Lion. Ugh, Lion is the worst.
I actually really like it when you interrupt concrete. It's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, he's really stupid. He goes about one word every 3 seconds.
No, the thing is, he will overtalk many people, but for some reason, when you do your little shtick, he mutes up.
I think he just knows because, there's no dialogue. It's
Good evening, everyone.
It's just me yelling, over him. So he knows that it's too exhausting to try to bring me down.
I just like how he kind of sits. I can tell he's pissed off. It's like, it's only get this guy out of here.
That is a long running room now. 2 years now? 3 years? I don't know how long have they been going. It's insane. I don't know how Nathan does what he does, or what's her face.
They work from home. So.
Jesus, I wouldn't see. I can't even work when I'm doing this. This is the work. I don't know how they do what they do.
Yeah, but he's not sitting there talking all the time. In fact, he's usually not even speaking most of the time. Other people.
Yeah, I guess people just like listening to this. I don't like listening to this. I'm trying to create, clips and things. But there are some real characters on this app. Fuck. Honestly, every single person should get their 60 seconds of fame, 3 minutes of fame. That's really what everybody is looking for, but nobody's doing. But yeah, everybody is a character.
My name on your YouTube.
Yeah, you're a character. But yeah, Lion and honestly, recording Lion would be good content because it's just so.
Have you ever encountered Shamos?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to hear the voice.
Have you recorded him before, Shamos?
Not that I know of.
Oh, well.
He either goes by Shay or Shamos. That guy says some wild things. He only comes into Chillism for short periods, though, because if he's not speaking, he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I recognize the name now. I can hear Nathan saying it, or somebody saying Shamo in the room, Shamos in the room.
And he was a self-proclaimed MGTOW guy, men going your own way, and he supposedly lived in his truck outside of a casino in like Virginia for a few years.
Because they know they don't got my
You're the only one pulling
Can I
back
speak?
from that. Listen, you know that you're wrong.
Can I speak?
Hey, listen, this is what I want to say something.
one mic on
This is what happened. When
we
when people start losing their position, what they do is that they try to lily pad hop to another position to win. Nobody in this fucking room said anything about first degree murder. You,
this is
what
the disingenuousness.
King, you stop it. No, King, you're allowed to speak. They muted the room. They muted the room so you can talk. They muted the room so you can talk. I allowed you to continue on.
all types of shit.
Hey, King, they muted the room so you can talk. They did. They muted the room so you can talk.
Can Imani speak?
Yeah, I'm done. I was just talking. He just cut me up. You didn't see this shit? I'm explaining the position.
You got 30 seconds, nigga.
Nigga, I got as long as you did,
You
nigga.
got 30 seconds, bro.
You retired GD, nigga. Anyway, my point is simply this. Niggas run when he knows that his position is weak, and now he's trying to move to another position to try to defend that. And then he wants to put those thoughts in everybody's head that we made the argument about first degree murder. We never mentioned that shit at all. Nobody did. Not even dumbass Fort. Fort didn't even mention that shit. What we said is that motherfucker can't run. You can't hide from this shit. You did the same shit. We got the body. We got the weapon. We even have a fucking confession that you spoke to a fucking officer and said. What does your family have to say about this? When he said he was getting jumped, when he was depressed. Yeah, they must have had some issues before. They'd do anything to try to get a lesser charge for their fucking son, just like anybody in this room would. And it's really sad, but it's true. They already have the evidence. The boy told you I stabbed this motherfucker. I did it. That's why I say the nigga dumb as fuck. I would have played retarded. I would start shaking on the ground. I probably would even cut myself before I ever would have fucking confessed to stabbing somebody in front of 30 people. Only a dumb motherfucker does that.
Or maybe somebody that actually believed it was self-defense. So now we also stated that they did not know each other, but I believe that they did. Now, if you look at my PTR, there's a picture of Carmelo, and he is in football attire. Why would he be in football attire? Because he is a football player. Alongside of being
they must have had some issues before.
Now, we also know that the other individual, Austin, is a football star as well. Now, both of those being true, I'm going to pull up another PTR. Because they knew each other. Because they played each other before. That is Centennial Titans and Frisco Memorial High School. They played each other September 19th, 2024.
Interesting. I'm sure all these details will come out. It's still early.
So now you say it's too early.
Samoa, I hate to put it like this, but if you ask me, Carmelo needs to hire a good Jew lawyer, right? Oh, he's gonna get off. My nigga's gonna get off, bruh. Look, Samoa, what I'm saying is, from all this she's bringing out, you could paint a picture of a nigga who was scared and just wanted to defend himself. You can do that with all of this shit. I'm telling you.
And what I'm telling you is that the complicated part is the interaction in itself. Let's say he goes, put your hands on me, something along the lines of put your hands on me and you'll see, or whatever he said, right? And then dude goes to move towards him and he stuck him, right? He announced
that he perceived him to be a threat. He violated his space and he defended himself. But when he said, "Now punch me and you'll find out," it's like he's baiting him, right? Like he's instigating the situation. But the kid doesn't punch him. The kid tries to move him away from the seat, and then he stabs him. But the problem that he's going to have is when he ran away and threw the knife away, and then they've already came to the understanding that these kids have never interacted with each other. That's why what Imani's saying is crazy. Imani, do you think that they played on the same... Well, you said Austin was a star. We know he was a star. But when we're looking at Carmelo Anthony, what makes him a star?
He was the football captain.
Oh my gosh, this is horrible.
You still want to go? You want to keep going?
Hold on. What makes them being on the... Or how about this one? Were they both on the field at the same time on September 9th, 2024?
They were.
He laughs when he's getting packed up, so now he's doing his shuffle. So you know.
Just hold on. Just hold on. Can you show us that they were both playing on that field on September 9th, 2024? Imani?
Yes, because I can bring up the roster. Give me 2 seconds.
Yes, come on. This is crazy, bro.
When you show that, he's going to ask for something else. He's going to be like, okay, we'll do a picture of them holding hands on the field. I promise you, he's going to change it. It's going to be something else.
Hey, check this out. So when the detective or when the police chief comes out and says these children or these 2 kids or these 3 kids have never interacted with each other before this day, they concluded that somehow after questioning some people. Do you think so, Chili's?
You still want to go? You want to keep going?
Hold on. What makes them being on the police chief? How is this one? Comes out. Were they both on the field at the same time on September 9th, 2024? Hunter, Austin, and Carmelo Anthony.
He laughs when he's getting packed up, so now he's doing his shuffle.
Just hold on. He probably can you show us that they were both playing on that field on September 9th, 2024?
I don't know if he's basing that on, but it will come out in the trial.
Yes, come on.
If what Carmelo's family is saying is
crazy,
true, and it seems like you show that, he's going to ask for something else. He's going to be like, okay, I want to picture of them holding hands or meeting at a party before or whatever. It's going to be something else.
So when the police chief comes out and says these children or these 2 kids or these 3 kids have never interacted with each other before this day, they concluded that somehow after questioning some people. Some common sense.
You still want to go? You want to keep going?
Hold on. What makes them being on or how was this one? Were they both on the field at the same time on September 9th, 2024? And I defended myself.
He laughs when he's getting packed up, so now he's doing his shuffle.
Just hold on. Just hold on. Can you show us that they were both playing on that field on September 9th, 2024?
Yes, because I can bring up the roster.
When you're talking to the police officer? Yes, come on.
You don't say that.
This is crazy, bro.
When you show that, he's going to ask for something else. He's going to be like, okay, we'll do a picture of them holding hands on the field. I promise you, it's going to be something else.
Oh my gosh. So when the detective or when the police chief comes out and says these children or these 2 kids or these 3 kids have never interacted with each other before this day, they concluded that somehow. What do you mean? They're questioning some people.
You still want to go? You want to keep going?
No. What makes them being on the... No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's on the mind. Were they both on the field at the same time on September 9th, 2024?
Would it not be on your mind?
He laughs when he's getting packed up, so now he's doing his shuffle.
Just hold on. Can you show us that they were both playing on that field on September 9th, 2024?
Yes, because I can bring up the roster. Give me 2 seconds.
Yes, come on. And now we're pointing out where he was
Crazy, bro. When you show that, he's going to ask for something else.
Some sort of compassion towards the kid that he assaulted. So he's rationally thinking here, right? Like he's not just scatterbrained kid. And then he's asking about the self-defense. Right?
It's still
so that's going to get thrown out. These two kids were not on the field at the same time. They both play defense.
Oh my God! Look at that. Look at
On top of that, now he can't plead insanity.
Hey, Forrest, happy birthday.
You just pointed that out just now yourself.
I went to Batch Preps to check it out because one of my friends is a coach, so I know some of the tools.
Yeah, but you don't have to be on the field at the same
time to me.
package.
Yeah. They don't have to be on the field at the same time to me. This is silly. This is crazy.
What was being asserted, right? What was being asserted was these two kids were career bullies. And Carmelo Anthony was one of their victims in the past. That was the claim that was made.
Yep.
So now we've reduced it so far.
Who made that claim? Who made that claim?
Brother, Imani said that the uncle was saying it was bullying at a party.
Yeah, because this kid is.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a new development.
Hang on. Here's another thing.
I want to say this, bro. Adrian and Knowledge might lie tonight. That's all you don't know, bro.
Wait, they're gonna
They definitely gonna lie. They might lie, bro. That's right.
They beat your
Why are you meeting up without us? Why were we not invited to this?
We doing the next one. We doing the next one. But I want all of them. I'm trying to say that because you guys don't live in the capital, which is Florida, we could have done this arrangement, man. Next time it's gonna be Mr. Finley. He's gonna give you guys all a private flight to Miami, and we all gonna hang out.
I'll never forget Mr. Finley. He said we could all stay at his house, even Ike. And he said he would let Ike stay in a bedroom and he'd let him open a window so he could smoke his special tobacco.
That's true. I would never do that.
I know.
See, that's what I'm saying. That nigga too
That's because you got kids.
not even that. No, it's not even that. Like, one of y'all was gonna steal something from the nigga house, and I don't want to be there for that, so I'll just get myself a hotel room.
It's not things he don't care. He can replace it. Philly got money.
I like to get back to the point. King, are you willing to concede?
Concede what? What the fuck are you talking about? Concede what?
Look, King, we ain't gotta keep going back and forth with this, dude.
Hey, lying. You the one that keep coming to me. This let me know you lost. This let me know. This nigga keep trying to get his lick back.
We ain't got your
lick back.
Nigga, I'm trying to get my.
I'll never forget Mr. Finley. He said we could all stay at his house, even Ike.
I'm trying to take my knee off of your neck. What the hell are you talking about?
Lying. You are delusional. Listen.
I'm trying to help you. Help me.
No, you're not. You need to help yourself. Listen, Lion. You and all these other nappy-headed niggas was in here talking shit about this young black man. He's just another animal, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You tried to make it like he's a murderer. Now today, you pulling all that rhetoric back. That's literally what you're doing. You won't even be on record to say, I'm not done. Let me finish.
What rhetoric did I pull back?
I asked you directly because we all know that the prosecution is trying to, or at least they're saying that they want to pursue first-degree murder. So I asked you
That's
directly.
my first time hearing it.
Oh my God, we talked about it yesterday.
Obviously, no, you did not. You didn't talk about that.
Y'all see how these niggas
You did not talk. No, don't try to play the stupid shit.
Y'all see how these niggas play games?
You didn't talk that shit with me.
You see what these niggas be doing,
man?
man?
Talk that shit with me. What we talked about.
Y'all see lying?
Ladies and gentlemen, what we talked about yesterday was the fact that this young brother pulls out a knife. Here was my statement. I was driving. My statement was, look, all we know so far is that they came together, black dude pulls out blade, stabs dude dead. How do we run away from that? And everybody saw it. I said that this is a dumb motherfucker, like I said today. That's all I said. How do you get around that?
But also lying.
Then we start, wait, hold on. Then today we
start hearing all of these nuances to the story. There's new information that just came out of nowhere. I heard, but what I heard was this, right? I believe that this shit is coming out of King's mouth of all people.
Lying, you're a fucking retarded.
Why don't we go with the evidence? Let the evidence rule the
Yes,
day.
that's what I told you yesterday before we got all this new information. You were talking all this nappy-headed shit, talking about
Like
this black kid needs to. You just did it today, talking about he's a murderer. That came out of your mouth.
I was trying
not for 5 minutes ago. That's that rhetoric.
He murdered that boy. He murdered the boy. Now it's up to the.
Put it on record.
Wait, slow down. Wait. Listen. But it's not up to me. I'm not.
This is dumb shit. Put it on record. You think it's first degree murder?
It's not up to me. The prosecution has
you see? Y'all see this?
Oh my fucking God. Let me make my point. It's not up to me. The prosecution has to prove that it's murder. From my standpoint, it looks as if, especially when you said that this boy had his hand.
Public defender.
Wait a second. Here's some more evidence. Remember the statement. He was sitting down. He kept his hand in the bag. That means he was basically holding on to the blade. And he kept telling the boy, "Hey, listen, put your hands on me, and this is gonna or something's gonna happen to you." Then the boy he provoked him. The white boy provoked him. Then after that, he says, if you swing on me, then after that, you're going to see what happens. The white dudes didn't swing on him. He tried to yoke him up. And what did he do? The blade that he already had in his hand, that's premeditated. He pulls it out and goes straight. I know he's right-handed because where the heart is located on the body. And the way he stabbed him, and he got in between the 6 and the 7 rib cage, I know exactly where he stabbed him.
Bro, that don't mean shit. Why are you telling us all this? We don't give a fuck about this.
Because it has to prove that it's murder. My
standpoint, just say the defendants argue self-defense, right?
Right.
Is the prosecution have any claim, or will there be any weight to this if they say why he had a knife in school property? Would that have any benefit to the prosecution?
I used to have a knife.
You're not supposed to have a weapon. You're not supposed to have a weapon. With all of the school shootings, the bombings, and everything else, I don't know if any of you all have been.
So that will help.
Wait a minute. You're not supposed to have any weapons of any sort on school property.
So what I'm asking is, will that help Metcalf's case for them to argue that the defendant was not allowed?
It will not help.
It will not.
No, it's not going to help. It's not going to help Metcalf's case. No, it's not.
The evidence. So here's the other important part. The evidence, what I just stated before, the evidence that I just stated before, that's what's going to actually be brought up. And where exactly was his hand located? Was his hand holding the knife in the bag, waiting to be to get the green light from the white guy to hit him or do something to him? That's what's going to be. He's going to have to testify in court.
He's gonna have to. It depends. If you have a backpack,
what he did, and that was the
so the backpack was on the chair.
Why he did what he did? Like he has to testify.
Yeah. The point and Imani. So like,
wait, what's the premeditation? Say it again. What's the premeditation?
I just said for him holding on to the knife inside of his bag, he not brandishing that, but holding his knife, waiting to be attacked so he can stab this child. The premeditated part.
So you saying that's going to equal first degree murder?
That may.
That doesn't.
Y'all see this? Y'all see how murder plays games? Y'all see how murder plays games? Are you saying that's first degree murder?
That makes it premeditated, right?
Premeditated is first degree murder, though.
You're saying that's first degree murder. So I can put you nappy-headed niggas. Yo, I'm gonna make you niggas put your money where your mouth is. You know I'm about to do it.
The reason why we wouldn't do it.
All you niggas gonna have to put a grand on it. Every single one of y'all gonna have to put a grand on it.
You're posturing right now. So we.
No, I'm not. I want to see a grand, nigga. Let's do it. I'm tired of y'all talking shit. Put your money where your mouth is.
We would never take that bet, and the reason.
Now you see how these niggas backtracking? Yeah.
Hold on. Oh my fucking God. You gotta relax, man. Keep all that Chicago shit to relax.
yes, man. Oh my God, you gotta remember.
Hey, hold on. So I would not say. No. He made a statement about me saying first-degree murder. He didn't even let me finish my point.
Like, you always backtracking. Be like Samoa. Be consistent, man.
What I think he's gonna be charged with, and it's not first degree, stupid ass nigga. It's gonna be second degree. Here's the second degree. I'll look it up for you really quickly. Listen to it. Second degree murder is an unlawful killing without premeditation, often characterized by intent to cause serious harm or extreme recklessness, but not the specific intent to kill. That's exactly what this motherfucker did.
No, okay, so I'm glad you finally beat the man about. I'm glad you finally beat
That's
the
what
man.
I do. Don't never give anybody the chance to speak.
Imani wants to counter Lion. Imani wants to counter you real quick.
I will say.
No, don't counter him yet. No, please, don't counter him yet. Please, don't do it. Don't counter him. Lion. So are you saying the second degree? You want to put money on it? Because I know Imani's about to tell him the shit that's gonna take it to manslaughter. Do you want to put money on it?
It's not gonna be a negligent manslaughter. I'm not putting any money on it. I think it's gonna be second degree.
Imani, go ahead and counter. Let's hear Imani's counter. Well, let's hear Imani's counter. And King is kind of messed up to put money on
I'm putting money on the count. I'm not putting money on. What are you talking about?
I'm after Imani.
I think it's going to be a second degree.
Imani, go ahead with the counter.
I'm going to counter with voluntary manslaughter because it is a crime of passion. And on top of that, it technically is a second degree murder, but it's on the spot and it's for the moment choice.
Yes. And the reason why is exactly what this is.
But the reason why we counter that game, and this is the point I was pointing out, when he says, "Touch me and you'll find out." If he would have touched him at that very point, I think Imani's right. But because he didn't do nothing, and then he started to talk again and say, "Punch me, and now you'll find out," while concealing the blade, and then he went to go grab him to move him, physically move him away from the chair, and then he stuck him. That kind of shows you that there was a hesitancy, that there wasn't the existence of imminent danger.
But actually, you can't measure. So what you're trying to do, Samoa, and it's not gonna work. You're trying to measure a man's, you're trying to measure the emotional response. And I'm telling you, it's not going to work,
danger.
bro.
No, hold on. I'm talking about imminent danger. The only justification, imminent danger has to be present. By him saying, touch me and you'll find out, he's already set the boundary of where my line is, where you're going to intimate, or where there's going to be imminent danger. I'm letting you know, if you cross this line, I'm going to perceive you as an imminent threat, and I have to terminate it, right? But then when the line was crossed, he didn't do nothing. He drew another line.
Yeah, because Samoa, he could have been pussy, nigga. Like, what are you talking about? He could have been pussy. And he finally got the strength to be a man.
Hold on. He's a football star. You know any middle linebackers that's pussy? No middle linebacker star. Come on.
Who's the one from remember the Titans? Remember the Titans? Remember the movie?
He was the safety. He was little.
Oh, that nigga pussy. Damn.
So also,
Samoa is like, never mind. He plays a pussy position.
It was a 40-pound.
There's some safeties that are Samoa. There's some safeties that are bigger than that, and they're scary, bro.
Well, shit.
Yeah, so he was 160. There was a clear difference. Plus, the kid really didn't play that much.
No, according to Imani, he was a Troy Polamalu.
he was the captain.
Yeah, the captain of the freshman team as a kid.
Listen, let's be honest, y'all. So Carmelo Anthony is captain of the real niggas, and so all real niggas have to defend Carmelo Anthony. That's just how it is, bro.
That's the difference. Niggas and black people, clear difference.
Look, that's fine. Look, I'm with you before. Listen, I'm with you, bro. Real niggas over here.
All right, so
bro, King is doing that damn shit.
I'm on it, bro.
Wait,
I'm on it, bro.
Wait, let's catch up, Mike. Real quick. You want to hear what Mike has to say?
Hold on, wait. I got a question. Samoa.
Yo.
The stabbing that happened at the track meet.
I needed there's one more thing that I needed from the case. When he went to speak to the police officer, you said, was it you that said that he asked about the
if he was okay?
About self-defense or about what?
Did he not about? I know about the self-defense, but I'm talking about did he ask about his the person he killed?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did he say?
Is he gonna be okay?
Is he gonna be okay?
See, or is he alright? That's why I wanted Lion to make the bet.
That's what I asked Nathan after I whooped his ass at Topgolf.
Damn, look at Nathan came in here and said somebody was gonna come in here and lie because he beat everybody.
But that's why I don't want nobody doxing him. So I scratched out his name to protect the innocent. But this nigga know who named number 1 on there.
Oh shit.
And he felt
Adrian, you drink tonight too?
Yo, you beat him?
What my
Yo,
PTR?
Adrian, you beat him? What you beat him in, Adrian? What you beat him in?
Top Golf, Sonic.
Oh, hell no. You beat him in Top Golf?
Sonic.
Yo, this nigga pussy. Yo, Nathan is pussy.
I told him ahead of time. He saw me take the picture. He knew this was coming. I just told him I would block out his name.
She gonna use that on you. She gonna use it against you forever. You bitch ass.
Oh, he knows that.
He just sucks at life.
Now, mind you,
He actually did
earlier. But he ain't got no proof. He ain't got no proof he did nothing. Yeah, that's true. He picked this boring ass game.
Knowledge didn't play with y'all?
Hold on, you just said he won in a boring game.
Yeah, he did.
Damn.
We didn't even finish that one. Technically, he won because we forfeited. Yeah, we didn't even finish that game.
That is true. Damn.
He won by forfeit. That shit was boring.
Hey, but we already knew what time it was when he got here. He said, "Hey, Adrian and Knowledge are gonna lie about something," but I whipped all their asses. Direct quote.
That's exactly what he said when he came in.
He did. That's why he got on here so quick. He didn't even play with Knowledge. Yeah, Knowledge was at the bay next to us.
So Knowledge did have the booster seat, right?
Man, no comment.
Yo, booster seat.
No comment.
Crazy.
No comment is crazy, though.
I know Top Golf got Adrian Top Golf, they got the real tall bar stools, right? So did you have to help both of them niggas get up there?
These niggas' legs was dangling, bro.
That's crazy.
I told him already. I came in here screaming earlier. I was saying, I can't hear y'all, but this nigga's short.
Hey, Adrian, tell me this. Can you see what just looking straight at him, can you see the top of this nigga's head?
Fuck yeah. That tall.
Damn.
Oh, this is crazy.
At least he's eye to eye with her at this point. That's the Knowledge. Nathan got like 3 inches on him. Yeah, he got like 3 inches. But I'm telling you, Violet was scooting down, so she be taller than everybody. Look at when y'all see the picture. Look at Violet's legs. That's what I want y'all to do.
Is Violet short too?
Damn. Tell Nathan he better not ever say nothing crazy to me again. I will stop on this.
Nathan can never talk to me. Nathan can never talk to me ever. No, you don't.
Oh, the pictures didn't come through. I thought the pictures came through.
That's because Nathan deleted them.
No.
On the short team.
No, you ain't disrespectful, Red Rob. I'm talking about that picture.
No, we had a good time. I'm so happy they came out. I'm glad they didn't play me like the last time when they forgot I was even gonna be in the country.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I'm glad y'all had fun, man.
Nathan called himself being messy. You gonna say, next time I'm gonna invite Concrete. I said, what?
Y'all gotta come out to LA. Chicago parade.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
If I get a layover in LA, y'all definitely gonna know about it. Every city I go to, I'm gonna let people know.
But them cold cities, I'm sorry, I probably won't get to none of them.
Hey, did you get the chip? I mean, what's that? That dip? It's like chips and dip or some shit like that.
Oh, that buffalo chicken dip. I almost ordered some.
I love that shit from there.
That was my first time going to Top Golf. My first time, and look at my scoreboard. All right, I think I need to write this.
Words.
Y'all were talking about murder, and I had
what were you guys debating? What was the debate about? What was the argument?
If old boy is so the point was they were trying to say that he was innocent. I think there was a lot of people who were calling him innocent because of racial issues.
Nobody argued that.
And then after that, when the evidence started to come out, so the first thing was somebody said that the father says that they had some sort of squabble in the past, which possibly had led to the event.
Yeah, nobody said that.
Yeah, you did say that.
So you just lying. So Mike, this is about the case. This is about the case of Austin Metcalf.
Wait.
Lost his life at the hands of.
The reason why I got so involved.
What's his name? Carmelo.
Hold up.
So that's what we've been discussing.
No, listen. The reason why I personally got so involved
with all his dumbasses.
Because
so that's what we're discussing. We're just discussing
because Monica had challenged his position and said, "Hey, can you send me where you can?"
You keep trying to get a W. I'm sorry,
about the father, saying all of this stuff about his son.
Let it go.
He couldn't pull the shit out.
I didn't say that the father said that.
Then after that, Chili. Hey, look, I got a really great memory. I was smoke out the.
Why you lying? You lying.
So then after that,
Chili right now. You lying.
Why you gotta talk over? If you believe that you're so right, bro, why you gotta
so Mike, that's what we were discussing.
You lying ass nigga.
But what about it? Like, what's the argument?
The argument.
Yeah, so we're arguing whether it's self-defense or like what is it?
So what? Like, has any of the information come out to determine?
Yeah,
a lot of it has.
So what's the agreed upon information? What do you guys
So what you essentially have.
Baby, scroll in the chat, then you'll see
what you essentially have, Mike, is
this nigga just want to talk over everybody. He only wants his mind to be heard.
Please line.
No, don't please me.
So please line. Please, thank you. I appreciate it.
You didn't even let me say.
Didn't I tell you that was going to come in and lie, King?
Hey, Nathan, just take your damn piece and go sit down, nigga. We heard how that woman had you dancing all over the damn.
Okay, lying.
Did I say that again?
We got it, line.
We heard how that woman had you dangling all over the table. You got that little depressed look after this woman to whoop your ass in front of everybody. I'm gonna ask you, so you gonna take your woman. Honestly, you should just change your name from Nathan to just Luke. Or how about Luke Incorporated? Lame ass nigga. You could have stretched your cock up there.
Big in a lie.
You know what the fuck this is, nigga? This east side all day.
You know how to make an entrance. Lie, you gotta be honest. That was funny. How he came Anyway, just let me explain, like, because I'm not gonna give any biased answers like you just did. So Mike, you essentially have white conservatives trying to paint a picture of this kid, Carmelo Anthony, who's the black kid, as this sort of monster. Oh, we need a referendum on black females in America. They essentially painted this narrative that this kid just stabbed this white boy for no reason. And so we need to essentially either deport or throw all black men in jail. And then the actual facts of the case started to come out. We saw that, no, the white kid approached this black kid. Now, he was in a tent that I guess you can say he wasn't supposed to be in. He was sitting in there. But the white boys, there's two of them. There's a twin who passed away and his brother. Essentially, one of them approached the kid, tried to get him out of the tent. And so Carmelo Anthony stabbed him with a knife. So the question is the events surrounding that stabbing, because the stabbing led to the boy's death.
So
And
this
so
might
that's
be a
what
little
we've
bit
been discussing.
convoluted.
And then he fled.
You hear the last two about it.
Wait, hold up. So, okay, so, because I need to process it the way my brain understands information, so just bear with me for a second. How many stabbings were there?
One.
Just one.
So one stab, and
Yes.
then he ran away, right?
Yes, he ran away and he threw the knife in the bleacher.
Okay, and then now you guys are trying to argue like what he might be charged with or convicted with or what?
Yeah, all of it. What he might be charged with, what is the nature of the fight, the witnesses and how they're reporting it, what the parents are saying, what the parents are saying on both sides, meaning the white parents and the black parents. We're discussing all of it.
And I agree with what Lion's description was. What did you say Lion was? Like it was a second degree, it was something reckless, something?
Second degree murder.
Yeah, I think that it sounds closer to that. And even because I don't think like even if he didn't belong in the tent or whatever, that tent wasn't that person's home. That person, in theory, should have gone and fucking. You see, this is where, like, anyways, that person should have went and told somebody, not try to take things in his own hands, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, even though like the person had a knife, one could argue that if nobody was confronted, the knife would have not been pulled out.
Correct.
How big was the knife?
2020.
Oh, that I don't know actually. Actually, that's a good
No,
question.
I'm just saying one could argue. Now look, I think the size of the knife can play a role into it just because like certain knives to be carried are within reason. I think somebody said they carry a knife. So like there's that, but I mean, yeah, it sounds like fucking.
But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Would this change your view? So the kid goes, "Hey man, get out of the tent." Kid says, "No." Then he says, "Touch me and you'll find out."
Who said that? Which kid said that?
All right, so Carmelo Anthony. So the white kid Austin tells Carmelo Anthony, "You're in the wrong tent. Get out."
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony says, "Touch me and you'll find out."
Yeah, that
and
means
then
he felt
Austin,
threatened.
right? And then Austin touches him.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't do anything. He says, "Punch me and now you'll find out." Austin goes to move him from the seat, and then he stabs him in the chest and takes off.
That makes it more self-defense to me.
Amen.
Yeah. It sounds like there was like.
You missing one point though.
What was that? Concealing the weapon in the bag?
Yeah, thank you. Now,
Okay, so like, but here's the thing.
Now let's see what he say.
But here's the thing: the concealing the weapon in the bag is separate than the person.
No, he was holding the knife while in the bag.
Oh, even better. It's like that means he. Okay, look. One could say that he stepped into hostile. I'm going to potentially argue this. One could argue that he stepped into hostile territory, right? And when somebody approached him, he felt threatened. Now, I guess he could have left, so you could argue that. But at the same time, somebody did approach him, and then he set his boundaries, and the person didn't respect the boundaries that he set. In fact, the person doubled down. So it does get a little...
Because he reset the boundary, though. Like, I agree with you. If
Can
he
I
says,
give you,
touch me and you'll find out, and then dude touches him, and then he sticks him, right? But the fact that he didn't respond at that very moment tells you that he didn't perceive this as being imminent. So then he raises the standard now, right? He says, "Punch me, and you'll find out now." So the first line has been erased, right? Now there's a new line. So the first line wasn't that. So I think that the self-defense comes in after that first line was drawn. Boom, you stepped into my territory, you got it. Self-defense.
Can I also give
go ahead. Yeah.
some context? Now, the reason why they were underneath the tent was it started to rain. So it wasn't like two teams, tent. It was just a tent.
That changes things too.
No, that's wrong. They all had separate tents.
No, it wasn't.
So it wasn't exclusive to the team then, is what you're
No, she's
Exactly.
wrong. No, Memorial High School had their own tent, and Centennial High School had their own tent. They were all designated, and the whole track meet was delayed because of the rain.
It started to pour down rain. No one knew which tent to get under.
I already looked this up already.
Bro, she from out that way.
Yes.
No, that's the worst
Yeah, what are you
part.
talking about, Samoa?
She know more than you.
Yo, bro.
He said that makes it worse.
Well, yeah,
The students were just fleeing to a tent. It wasn't like, oh, let me look up as it's raining to go to a tent.
Look, I think the kid's gonna get manslaughter, but they're gonna give him like 6 months. They're not gonna give him they're gonna give him a light sentence.
Based on the team that they were designated to.
Can you just like
Well,
fix my opinion?
this is not difficult. Maybe I never ran track before, but this is not hard. Like, this happens frequently, but teams know which tent to run under. Like, this is not a hard thing.
Man, if you're arguing things that are not gonna hold up in court, sir. You're arguing things that are not gonna hold up in court.
Don't listen to this dude, as he told me
You're a public defender. You're a public defender, nigga.
Get jumped. So, like,
you know, what's up by a public defender then?
But you're acting like a kid being underneath a tent that's not his or his team's tent is.
He's arguing like that's gonna hold up in court. Oh yeah, that's reason to pro. It's not gonna fucking hold up.
If you're on,
Here's how I think it could is because if there was an option and he felt threatened, he could have left.
Thank you.
But if it's the case that it wasn't exclusive, and I've been to track meets, they have
the hospital told him, go, get out of here.
They have enrollment tents, they have like stretching stuff, so who knows, right? Could have been a sponsored tent. If it's like the case that it was like a non-exclusive tent and the rain was the reason why, then I think that it could at least move in the direction more towards a self-defense thing.
Yep.
Right? Because if you felt scared,
bro, how can it not be an exclusive? Hold on, wait. Like, how can it not be an exclusive tent when the whole interaction was you're in the wrong tent?
Because there's so many different tents. Like, if I'm in the wrong tent and it's raining,
if you
tell me I'm in the wrong fucking tent and it's raining, you think I'm gonna keep my ass?
Imagine if the prosecution had Lion, Samoa, and Ford was arguing, we won this fight, we got this in the bag. If you had Lion, Ford, and Samoa arguing this shit, we got it. We got it in the bag.
That is not gonna work.
It could be the case that it could be the case that
It'll never be the same after this, King.
it could be the case that a large group of their team was under a non-exclusive tent and they're just kind of like being tribal and they claim it.
Exactly.
People
Wait,
they do that on
my bad,
benches.
bro. I didn't mean to
They
do
do
that.
that on
So in the
neighborhoods.
article,
You're in the wrong neighborhood. They don't own the neighborhood. It's just
so in the article, it says each team has, and there's 12 teams. This is the championship. 9 o'clock in the morning. Each team has their own designated tent. Carmelo Anthony from Centennial in tracksuit was in Memorial High School's tent. I don't know why he's doing this.
Hey, come
on over here, Mike. Hey, the truth is better than
acting
lies.
like
Come on over here.
issue that he's in.
We got cookies, we got ice cream, whatever you need. The truth is better than lies.
Protein ice cream.
And if it is raining,
but why are you guys acting like that's a smoking gun, bro?
Yo, we got anabolic ice cream.
If it is raining,
Yo, we finally got a fucking paralegal in this bitch. What's up, Aaron? Tell us, Aaron, how you feel? Because we had public defenders.
Nigga don't even
we had niggas still studying for the bar. Now we have a fucking paralegal. Aaron, tell us, how do you feel about this case, my nigga?
I'm not a paralegal, but anyways, look.
Wow.
I wanted to say, why are you guys treating like him being under the wrong tent is like a smoking gun? It's not.
No, we're just okay. So we got Johnny Cochran directing the state is the Johnny Cochran. Eric, they're trying to justify. Listen, the glove don't fit me.
They're trying to justify a self-defense claim by simply stating that where everybody happens to share the same tent and these kids. That's what they were trying to say. But then when the evidence came out that no, everyone has their own designated tents, it leads to this kid that's wanting to, kind of be pushy. He was actually the aggressor. They asked him, hey, listen, And you're in the wrong tent. Go to your own tent.
You said he was the aggressor?
Listen, the kid decided on his own. Basically, fuck you niggas. I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's what he's basically.
Wait, did you just say the black kid was the aggressor?
He was obviously. Listen, if they're saying to
you're
him,
a fucking coon. You're a fucking coon, man.
If they're saying
You're a coon, man.
listen, you're in the wrong tent. You need to go to your tent. It's
This is
over
crazy.
there.
You said the black kid was
And
the
he
aggressor.
refuses like he wait. Listen, let's not get on that. Look, he refuses because he thinks he's doing some sort of like civil rights movement by not giving up his seat to a white person. Some stupid shit.
Ryan, I'm gonna ask you one question. Why did they go to the tent in the first place?
It was raining.
Okay, so why would you leave the tent?
There's 12 others. Wait, there's
No. Just. Why would you leave the tent?
Yeah. Why would you leave it?
Oh,
Let's answer that first, and then give your narrative.
No problem.
Did it stop raining?
Answer it. They leave the tent because.
I'll answer your question. Look, the reason
they left the tent
the reason
because.
you leave that tent is because you're gonna go to the other 11 tents. That one of them is possibly yours.
No, okay. Why would you leave? Why would you leave a tent?
Rain. You're not gonna melt. You can walk through the rain. It's not gonna hurt.
They left the tent because what?
Let's play football.
They left the tent because of what?
No, they asked him to leave the tent because it wasn't his tent, his team's tent.
But also, it is raining. It's raining.
So what?
You gotta leave the tent because it was raining.
They play in the rain. They play in the snow. What's your point?
Let me.
If they did that, then they would have been running in the rain. Okay.
So lying.
That's what I'm saying.
Lion and King. What about when they found him running in the rain? So Lion and King, can you guys clarify what your stance is, bro? So Lion, are you saying that the guy was the fire?
I can't hear you over Nathan. He's singing a
song. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Nathan. Keep singing.
No. My fault.
That nigga singing the blues after Adrian put hands on him.
Lion is studying for the bar. Go ahead, Lion.
You didn't say you studying for the bars?
It's not really that. It's actually quite
It really sounds like he made a 140 on his mouth.
It's my guy. All right, go ahead, get it all out. Hurry up.
What was your question? Not too much on my old team.
It's not me studying for the bar. This is just really common sense, and it's sad that you idiots can't really see it. All you have to do.
You know who said that too? You know who said they had common sense? Ashley.
All you have to do is just take all you have to do is take all of the evidence that they brought forth, and everything pretty much looks like the black kid is unjustified for his behavior.
So that's your stance line is that the kid can't justify self-defense?
No, that's definitely not going to be a self-defense. No.
Lion, that's why I asked you initially. Why did they get under the tent? They got under the tent because it was raining. And so if you're asking someone to leave, understood that they're scattered everywhere. So you want me to run somewhere else while it's raining? It was pouring.
Why are you guys focusing on the tent? The tent isn't the problem, bro. What's the tent? Why is the tent?
She's making it the issue, bro, because she's trying to make it unjustified for Austin and Hunter or for Memorial High School to reflect him to his own tent. That's what she's trying to do.
I'm starting to think now it's going to get off.
So
Hey, in the room, has there been anybody here that's never walked?
I know, man, because Lion trying to talk over
Is there anyone here that hasn't walked in the rain before? Is there anyone here that has not walked in the rain before? Yes or no?
Yes, my winter.
Did you melt? Did you burn or catch on fire or anything like that?
You're gonna let ammonia. So King, is it just that? Since I heard Lion saying, is that the black kid can claim self-defense?
You say, am I saying that the black kid can or can't?
That he can.
That he can't?
No, that he can.
So he was charged with first degree murder.
I've been arguing that he can.
Why are you two guys arguing if you got the same stance?
No, he has the argument that he can't.
Yeah, Lion saying that all y'all speak at the same time, and I can't hear you, bro.
I keep telling them niggas that they don't get it.
Ryan, you the main one speaking. I have to speak over you. You were forced for the one over talking niggas.
I have to speak over you, and you won't stop going.
Look, y'all see them doing it? Y'all see both of them doing it? You see?
So King, you said that he can or he can't?
He can. He absolutely can.
Yeah, so I gotta side with Line on this one, bro. He's not.
So you're saying he
Good
can?
job, right? Hey,
Yeah, he's definitely not gonna be able to.
Hey, listen, we got donuts. We got
So wait, Eric, I thought you just wait, Eric,
whatever it is, we got it. Just add.
Okay, Ryan, please. I'm trying to ask a question. We don't give a fuck. Eric, so you're arguing that he won't be able to argue self-defense, right?
No.
Why?
Okay. So what do you think he can argue? Or he has no, you say he has no case. You say okay. No.
He
Let me
can
ask
argue that for a lesser charge instead of
lesser
like
charge
second-degree
or-
murder. It probably
Right. Okay, cool. I see. So you're saying basically he can get off scot.
He didn't want to say it. I said
Guys, why are you over? Yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I said second-degree murder, didn't I? Interesting.
Yo, is something wrong with you, bro?
I just like whooping asses.
Eric, you're not whooping shit. This is him just agreeing with you. This him just agreeing with you. That's not whooping
Mike is
anything.
over here. Eric's a lawyer.
Mike is over where? Where's Mike over? Where's Mike over? He just was talking about self-defense.
Mike
What are you
is
talking
over
about?
here. Eric's over here.
I was saying this. I was saying that I
So,
agree with the line.
go ahead, King.
But what I was saying, if it's the case of the tents, we're not.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was saying if it's the case that the tents are not exclusive, then I can see a little bit more self-defensey stuff.
Right.
That's what I was saying. But
That's it. That's fine.
That wouldn't be a valid argument.
What's that?
That wouldn't be a valid argument in court.
Well, it's not an argument. It said it points towards a direction. So here's the point. If you have exclusive and non-exclusive tents, non-exclusive tents means that anybody could be there, which means that if you felt threatened, right, you're at least in what would be considered a public area. But if you did feel threatened, then you can't necessarily say, I'm in an exclusive tent, yet I feel threatened. It doesn't help out.
Then what happened when the information came out, Mike, about the tent?
Then again, once Samoa read the thing, then it's apparently exclusive, so that doesn't help the self-defense case. So.
All right, and then where did it go after that?
Going back to what you said, I agree with what you're doing.
Right, so King, shut the fuck up.
Wait, what are you talking about? Went back to who said what?
So, like a few minutes ago, Lion read a description. I think he said second-degree murder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Second-degree murder is a first-degree felony in Texas now.
So that's what I think is most likely, like, the biggest.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem.
They still have
You're talking about second-degree murder, right?
Also, too.
Yeah, because it was first degree. That everybody online was talking about first degree.
It's not
I never said first degree. I never said first degree lying.
And look, you can't say somebody can't fucking basically argue that they were using self-defense. They could do anything they want, right? The burden is on the prosecution, and so they could say self-defense, right? But ultimately, they don't have to say shit. They can say whatever they want. Whether it's going to hold is the.
Yeah, that's the point that I was making, Mike.
Oh no, it's correct.
It's extremely unlikely.
No, you were not.
That is plea for self-defense is not going to stand up. It's just not.
But and what it will do though, Eric, is that what's going to end up happening is he'll probably get some form of manslaughter, and they're gonna, because he's never had a criminal record, he doesn't have any of that. It'll probably be a very small charge. That is what I believe is going to end up happening with this entire thing.
He's going to have multiple charges regardless, because I don't think you can still carry knives in there.
And didn't Kyle Rittenhouse have multiple charges, right?
Not in the school though.
And Kyle not finished a sentence, bro.
Did he have multiple charges?
Can I finish a sentence?
Irrelevant.
All I'm saying is he's gonna have multiple charges besides the manslaughter or murder charge. It's gonna be like Lion said, the carrying no concealed weapon on the campus.
Notice like Lion said, King.
And also
We all know he had a weapon. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Like, we didn't know he had a weapon. You dumb.
You can't.
Was anybody arguing he didn't have a weapon?
Bro.
Hey,
You can't be a
Go ahead. He's emotional.
Yeah, you can't be a minor in Texas, I believe, and concealed carry.
He's not considered a minor.
But he is a minor. What do you
He's a minor.
Yes, he's under
No,
18.
when you're 17 in Texas, you're considered an adult.
No, you're not. What are you talking about?
I can check it. Don't worry. I got
age. I think
He's a minor.
right now.
No, I think she's talking about consenting age.
Nigga, why would you do this, bro?
He just wants to try to find
Minors
little string or something to hold on to.
17 when it comes to conceal and carry.
Oh my God,
ChatGPT, bro. I love ChatGPT.
My God.
In Texas, individuals under 18 years old are generally considered minors. Historically, the minimum age to obtain a license to carry a handgun was 21. However, recent legal developments
kicked me. Busy day. Oh, relaxing day. People are working themselves into an early grave. That's what I say.
Like look, like imagine like, you know, you and me like don't see any type of like, you know, like a red orange or something, right? Like you're saying that because we haven't seen a red orange, it's likely that we won't see a red orange before, right? But that's not the thing we're inference I'm positing. The inference I'm positing is that like when we see a mind, right, we have to account for why that mind
cheapest and most expensive dish at
and Buddhism seems to have a better account of this.
restaurants in the entire world.
So
Celebrities and people travel
it
from
seems like that
all
would
over
begin
just to try
more
to see my
mind
famous
features or
food.
something.
But I'm curious on
Given the idea that like if you see something in category X, it raises the probability that thing there'll be another thing in that category,
It
right?
seems
like,
emotionally simplistic. This doesn't seem logically simplistic.
What the fuck, dude? Intricate, like.
There's no interruptions that are allowed in my room.
You want to believe.
Retard savage animals. You fucking absolute animals.
Dude, I'm not a
theist,
Intricate. Like I'm an atheist.
You fucking salmon.
You need to believe that because you exist, therefore other intellect exists.
Oh my god, this is why I don't drink alcohol.
Jesus Christ. Abe, you agree that if I saw like a fucking gopher on Mars, there's probably another gopher? You agree with that?
A gopher Mars alien, yeah.
Okay, so even if I went to like a trillion other worlds and there was no gophers, and then I see one gopher on Mars, shouldn't that increase my probability of another gopher on Mars? Even though there's trillions of other not gopher planets, just as soon as you see a gopher, you should believe there's probably another gopher. Or like that increases the probability.
But that's because you saw one gopher and you surmise there could be one more gopher. But over here, you don't see one god on Earth.
Yeah, but you see minds on Earth, so you
you
should
see minds on Earth. So you should think there might be other minds, other humans. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily other humans, other minds.
Yeah, sure, other animals, other biological beings. Yeah.
No, minds.
No, this mind's implicator.
I don't know why we have to define it in the word mind, right? We're talking about brains.
No, because
brains
you were correct that we were more likely to see people and we were more likely to see animals, but we're also more likely to see minds, which is like just another thing that exists. So like, okay, Abe, the fact that there's minds on Earth means there's probably minds on other planets that aren't just animals, just like minds. Like our universe has minds in it, and like
I think our universe has many minds.
Yeah,
but I don't think that mind is like the definition of God.
Don't you think that like let's say we're positing theories, right? Like a naturalist theory that like gives an account of like those minds arising, given like these kind of like probability metrics at play, right? I mean that could account for those minds, but it seems like theism has a bolstered account because they're like, well, you know, a mind created the universe. It would make sense that like given that type of account, like more minds would follow, right?
It seems bolstered because it's unfalsifiable. That doesn't show its strength.
Wait, why Why is it unfalsifiable? I don't understand.
It's unfalsifiable. You think it's just like invisible.
Well, that theory would be falsified if there were no events. I'm not sure like what's funny about that. Like, I'm not being irrational.
It's funny because you haven't demonstrated that it's not unfalsifiable. It is unfalsifiable. If somebody says that an invisible mind created the whole universe outside of space and time, that's fucking unfalsifiable.
What's your positive falsification criteria?
The same criteria that science has.
Wait, but what's the falsification criteria for science? There's a big debate about that.
Okay, enjoy your dinner.
I don't know it in formal jargon. I can look it up, but it's basically you have to be able to see something, experiment with it, falsify it, verify it, and have your peers be
part of the falsification principle?
Yes.
I don't know, bro. This is...
You use the principle in the definition. Good job.
We could falsify the theory of God, right? Number one is that, if my God's necessary, I can give an account of the world that produce, I give an account of, reality that doesn't require a God, right? And that would falsify my condition. Would you agree to that?
I've never heard anyone who actually believes in a God give some type of scientifically verifiable, falsifiable criteria by which we could investigate it. No.
Yeah, but you're not constraining falsifiability just to science.
No, I said I've never seen anybody do it.
No, yeah, but I gave you an account that wasn't scientific, but there was a standard which we can falsify a theory by, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm only interested in science. So.
Yeah, but this is like a cop out now.
One of the best cuts of the cow.
So you think that millions of scientists who are doing things scientifically, whether it's gene editing or medicine or engineering, that they're all copping out because they're only working with science?
No, I think it's a cap out in the context of this dialectic. Not in the enterprise of science.
Yeah, well, I'm only interested in things that we can actually investigate scientifically, because if it's not, then it's just fucking presuming philosophical nonsense.
That seems like silly to me, because it's essentially
it seems silly to me to say that there's a God that created everything. About that.
Well, I know, but I can give you an account of why more so than some type of moral judgment, right? It seems like when you go into these types of dialectics with that type of standard, it seems as though you're making this type of requirement that can't be reached by metaphysical thesis, right? Metaphysics isn't adjudicated just purely by scientific enterprises or investigations. It's adjudicated by theoretical considerations, abduction, these other types of inferences that are going to be a lot more relevant in that type of field. And when you set that bar up, it's almost what's delusional about abduction?
Because delusional presuppositions, you can't actually check your work. You just assume it.
Yeah, but that's true of any type of scientific endeavor.
No, it's not.
No, okay, so how do you test for the whole let's say science needs to posit that there's an external world, right? How do you test for the external world? It's a theoretical and observable. You get something at the posit to do the analysis, right? You can just roll your eyes at me.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to go soon. But science is essentially, right? It is a system of inquiry predicated on methodological naturalism. That means that we tentatively assume the external world. We don't know we tentatively accept that it seems like there's an external world.
Yeah, but
and we do that. And we do that. And we do that.
I couldn't accept that abduction is a valid form of inference.
Hold on. Hey, you're an atheist, right?
Yeah, honestly, I can't accept that abduction is a valid inference.
Hold on, why are you
methodology is inference, right?
Why are you an atheist?
Probably stuff I would say arguments from Will Priors are probably the biggest type of mover for me. That's an abducted inference, yeah.
You're not intrigued or compelled by your own arguments you're giving here.
Wait, what do you mean?
To be a theist or a deist.
Well, that doesn't follow. Like the whole criteria here is like I have to give you one reason, right? Like, okay, there's going to be like a multiplicity of like considerations to be had about why God exists in such a way that like this one instance isn't going to be the kind of like adjudicator.
To which I respond, yes, it is.
What type of jargon are you just popping out now? Why are you not convinced by your own arguments?
Okay, what do you mean by jargon? I just told you why. Like, look, like when we have an inference about like whether God exists or theism, it's going to be like a multiplicity of considerations, not just like a consideration about like why minds exist. It's going to be like, well, okay, arguments from evil, considerations about parsimony, right? Looking at my priors before I examine the actual evidence on the table, you know, those things. And I think in the weight of things, like atheism makes them like this like a abysmal, I would say like a minuscule amount of sense compared to theism, right? I don't think it's like black and white either. But like that's why, right? But like this one thing I think is something that weighs in the kind of account for theism a little bit, at least at face value. Right? And that was the only bar I had to reach in this argument. Is like give you a reason why, coherent reason why you should believe in God.
All right, you gave your reason.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate it. I hope you don't think I'm silly. I thought I was trying to be like as honest as possible. So.
I think we need to give Himothy /exposure therapy. And me doing Sasha impressions while Himothy debates with me so that he gets used to it.
Yo, dude, my boy ASR was in here. Where's he at, dude? Where's the villain?
I don't think he gets the argument.
Don't think he understands parsimony. It's a fucking retard.
We're besties now.
I think that's like a little bit interesting to me is you could frame adjectives as verbs, but like no one does. So what I mean is like the meat dogs. You know what I mean? Like you could always just like describe a thing having a property as like I don't know, like
The Sam guy, he just speaks in the base voice, but he doesn't mean anything. He talks shit, but doesn't mean anything. But he just speaks in the base voice. So you think that he's speaking the truth. But he's not. Like he's speaking like nonsense or bullshit.
Wait, Mohan, what are you talking about?
Mohan, you just earned the approbation of being the quickest on my block list ever. Congratulations.
It doesn't matter, bro. I'm
What is going on?
You don't block me. I don't give. I cannot give like more like FUCKS than that. Okay.
You spelled it wrong.
I spelled it wrong. How do you spell it, brother?
You spell it FUCK.
No, FUCKS. I cannot give more fucks than that. Okay. No, it's FUCKS. I don't think being a native English speaker, you don't know that you know English. So I beg your pardon. I beg your finest pardon. Please stay on mute.
No. Why am I friends with you, Mohan? You're such a fucking weird retard right now. Like, why are we friends? Like,
no, just remove me from the friend list. I don't care.
No, but like, what? Did we have a good interaction? Yes, I do not think you care. But what? Did we have a good interaction before? Why? And you're
I'm
fucking
always on high, so I don't even know.
Do we ever have any memory of us having a good interaction?
I don't have any memory of a good interaction with you.
Alright, well, then.
But then I'm always honest. The only thing about me is that I'm always honest.
Alright, well, you came in this room kind of hot and kind of dumb, and understand. So that sucks, bro.
It doesn't matter, bro. You are not like Sam Harris.
I genuinely want to know why we were friends. I genuinely don't understand.
What did you do? I came upstairs to talk to Mohan. What did he said?
He was being he's being a crazy person. He was like fucking babbling and insulting people. It was ridiculous.
Listen, okay, I don't give a FUCK.
Hey, Bernard, just wait. Is Mohan? Do you like Mohan? Is he good?
He's like my favorite. I've never heard Mohan before. Like, I think you are secretly BFFs with Mohan.
Wait, you've never heard him before?
Who is Mohan? Like, where did you meet him? How did you added him?
I don't know how I got it, but he was terrible. So I don't know what happened there.
He's like the Benny bro of India.
What do you think of Sam Harris?
I think Sam Harris has courage and intelligence, but not humility, and that is a fatal flaw in himself as an intellectual. He's 2 out of the 3 necessary components of being a good intellectual. He has actually more courage than most intellectuals, but his lack of humility is a big problem.
Sounds like a Samite.
The Jewish Sams have many things in common.
Sam knows.
Is that a joke that, like, I have a big nose?
Yeah, Sam knows.
Nice. That was a good one. Yo, Mark, can you check out my thing I have pins in the top and tell me what you think about my list? If you have any suggestions for it?
Sure.
Mohan, come on.
Hey, why did no? Just what you said. You never even talked to him. So why do you want him
But
out here?
I like to be his friend.
All right, we're bringing Mohan back out. Let's see what Nargis has to say.
So he's got a picture of Andreas. Jesus. That's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I'm not narcissistic, brother.
Mohan, hi.
Hello.
I like to be a friend.
It doesn't matter. Everybody is a friend of everybody.
But I like to be a special friend.
Special friend?
No.
You mean with like special accommodations?
Correct.
Correct? Okay, then I like it.
Okay, let me send for you heart.
Yeah, give me a heart. I don't know, I'm not so fun.
No, send for Sam also heart.
No, not for Sam. Like this Sam is a bullshit guy.
He's cute.
No, you can't argue with me. Bro, Sam, argue with me, brother.
Okay. Sam,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I think
What do you think?
I think the liar sentence doesn't express a proposition. What do you think?
No, what?
I think the liar sentence doesn't express a proposition. What do you think?
Mohan, give it to him. Give it.
Liar sentence? What do
When I
No, I don't know.
when I say this sentence is false, I don't think that expresses a proposition.
No. He's the kind of guy who thinks he's smart. I think he's got bullied like so much in his college years that like he think he's smart, but then he isn't. But then like he comes to the clubhouse to prove a point.
Mohan, I got a question. Do you believe in the analytic synthetic distinction?
What?
See what big
Do you believe in what?
Do you believe in the analytic synthetic distinction, Mohan?
Analytic synthetic
Distinction, yeah.
He thinks he's
I don't
using
even
big
know
word.
what it
He's
means,
using big.
brother. Yeah, you're using very huge words. I don't even know what it means.
Okay, I'll use simpler words. I think you poo.
He's stupid.
No, everybody shits, brother. You also shit. Okay.
Because we have all full of shit.
You poop
No,
with mouth.
It's not
Hurt
full of
ear
shit.
makes
It's
that.
human nature to do shit.
Yeah, but it's not human nature to have shit come out of your mouth as well. So like maybe try to have it come out of just one of the holes.
No, he doesn't.
No, this guy Sam, he doesn't know anything, but then I don't know how he is like learning a philosophy panel. Like that's the strangest thing I can ever come across. This Sam guy, bro, I ask you a simple question. Name me the favorite philosophers that you respect.
My favorite philosophers are Mike Humer, Scott Alexander, Nick Bostrom, David Chalmers, Timothy Williamson, Galen Strauss.
And then this guy who does boxing. What is that guy name? No. Wait 1 second. There's one guy who does boxing as well. What is that guy name?
Which one? Muhammad Ali.
No. There's one guy who does boxing as well.
Mike Tyson.
No, not Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is extremely good. No, don't worry about Mike Tyson. There's this one guy who is all about like masculinism and all everything else. Like I forgot his name. Not Hegel, the latest guy who was living like who got arrested. Not Hegel, who got arrested. This guy got arrested.
Nietzsche. Sorry,
Nietzsche. Not Nietzsche. No, not Nietzsche. This guy got arrested.
Sorry, Narcissus. I know that you like him a lot. I know you like him, want to be his friend, but
Mark wanted to be his friend.
I think he's a dullard, Narcissus.
And if you really want to nuke your room, bring up Warrior in that noise.
Warrior, come over.
I'm just kidding. Don't do it unless you really want it.
Well, Warrior, it's kind of funny. He's a flat earther, which is hilarious, but also he's like really against the idea that Muhammad married a 6-year-old. So it's kind of like he doesn't think apostate should die, and he doesn't think he should marry underage girls. So that's like pretty base.
Did you forget his theory of after heaven, after death? Mark, have you heard that one?
Sam, did you ever ask him what he thinks about women?
No, what's he think about women?
You want me to tell you, or you want me to knock a letter?
I prefer to hear from you, Abe.
Okay. Well, essentially, he thinks that women are completely inferior to men, and that men are allowed to beat them.
As an inmate, the death penalty for terrorism in America.
Come on, Warrior. Come on, Warrior.
It goes back onto the system for the randomized.
So once women die,
As an inmate,
when they become men and go to heaven, please can you explain that himself? It's really.
But then there's no one to beat, Margaret.
And your wife could be your broom.
I have a
In
request.
heaven.
Could we please bring Mr. Acker up?
Who?
Mr. Acker.
Anything for you, Mark? Mark, did you have any suggestions for my list of innate concepts and operations?
I mean, maybe it ties into the sort of number part, but I mean, I think the notion of collections is arguably the most fundamental concept in all of mathematics.
Mm. I have category membership.
Basically, compositionality, forming things that are composed of other more basic things in a kind of recursive and or combinatorial manner.
Alright, so composability. Things can compose other things. How different is that from like part-whole relationships?
I mean, it seems way more general.
So what should I name it? Combinability. Sorry.
Well,
religion or myth. Let me. Can you keep this? Can I keep this dude dope?
Cool.
This dude on the bottom.
Yeah.
No control, man. Get rid of the trolls, dude.
Charles didn't even say anything.
The same way
The
as
first
we
time-
do.
The first time I listened,
I mean,
look, the
you're
first
saying
time I
that
listened,
the Chinese communicate
I'm not done.
just
Hey,
as
Hanson.
Americans or English, or the
I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
why
So-
you
وفي الاتحاد الافريقي هل الاتحاد الافريقي ضعيف عشان يحلوا زول من السجن يطلعوا زول من السجن ولا الليجات دول الليجات تكون ضعيفه لدرجه انه يخرجوا رياضه من السجون يتكلموا كيف ويستخدم القوه ذات الاتحاد الافريقي ما بقدر يستخدم القوه عشان كل وسائل المتاحه له كان بطريقه دبلوماسيه وبطريقه بتقوى عشان يحددوا كيف عشان يطلعوا رمشة او يقابلوا رمشة اللي نادي انترناشونال كوميونيتي ده التحليل ان نحن بنحلل هذا الموضوع انه رمشة حي ولا ميت اذا كان رمشة حي مين اقوى اتحاد الافريقي Producer that the judge would have gave her less.
Nah. What do you think about him not wanting to
has happened.
I think
It has happened, Lisa.
I'm just trying to figure out why would a judge give her less from a basketball
It
player.
has happened with a basketball.
Because if you join them together, there's like an infinite number of possibilities you could join together. But if you just keep them simple and you just say man and road, that's pretty hard to innately join together.
I know what you're saying, Abe. I'm trying to say something like, we could say the dog furs. No one does, because we think of that as an object with a property. Like, why can't we say that, like, having a property is like a verb? Like, the dog furs.
I mean,
You know?
you could say like, I don't know, the tree is treeing, but we came up with another word called growing, and then we just attached that to the word tree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm heavying. I'm gingering right now. I'm just straight up gingering at this very moment. Like, I kind of think, I sort of suspect that, like, actions, objects, and properties, that, like, you can do weird ones where you just switch them all around. Where, like, the noun becomes a verb. Like, the air molecule Sam would be like a noun becoming a verb. So the carbon atom Sam would be now I'm a verb. Or then, like, I don't know, like, the room, how do we make Sam an adjective? Like, the room is Sammy, you know? The room is Samtastic.
I feel like this is one of those things where, like, you know, like mirror universes or like universes, alternate universes. So like there could be a universe where everything's exactly the same. The only difference is people talk in terms like this.
It might be fun to just take like a normal human page of like a book and then just switch all the nouns to be verbs, all the verbs to be adjectives, and like just like, because like I think you could do it given the way I'm talking right now. My room is Sammy. Anyway, then maybe that's a little bit boring, but I think also think that is cool. Or then like, so Mark, I'm sorry, I invited up that guy, and he didn't come up. What did you want me to talk
That's a real
about?
shame. He seemed like he had a lot of value to contribute.
What was his
He said,
his
"You
hypothesis?
fucking bitch, pull up."
Yeah, well, that sounds like he'd be a little bit aggressive, you know? It seems like a little. And this machine, he's an anarcho-communist trans. Oh, the machine is the person that I hate. Oh my god. Okay, let's bring up Machine. Machine got really mad at me because I was like a Gattaca. I thought that like Gattaca was a bad movie because it like was stigmatizing genetic engineering, and then they started calling me Hitler for a while.
Sam, yeah, philosophy of language is interesting. So what I did, because you like play around with ChatGPT, so I told it, write me the Declaration of Independence, replacing nouns with verbs and verbs with adjectives. So it says, when in the coursing of humaning eventings, it becoming required for one peopling to disband the politicizing bandings, which have linked them with another, and to adopting among the powering of the earthing. I guess you could do it, but it feels like I'm in a Lord of the Rings movie. You know?
But I think you didn't make it a full loop. So like, with the noun, U.S. Constitution, but the nouns are verbs. The verbs are adjectives, and the adjectives are nouns. Rewrite it. We the populate of the unite the stated in organized to shaping a perfection, more unify, establishment, justify, ensuring the domesticate, the tranquil, provision. Okay, this is just gibberish. Okay.
It sounds like someone's high.
I think I might have to do it just manually. Like so especially like we the people of the United States, like the United States peopled with us. The United States peopled us. Or no. In order for, I don't know, it's tricky. This is a tricky one, Abe.
It's pretty interesting, though. I told you, I was watching some like cognitive documentary. The guy was talking about like language acquisition from babies. And it's really weird to think that like babies can like differentiate the sounds in their environment from the words they need to learn.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
They have just innate ideas about, what is an important sound to pay attention to. It's very strange to me that evolution didn't give us just a language. Like, it gave us an ability to learn a language, but it didn't just give us a language. I kind of would expect, like, it seems like a weird system where, like, you have the categories for, like, nouns and verbs and actions and sentences, like, propositions, but you just, like, don't have the variables filled in. Like, that's kind of surprising.
It allows a lot more like variability for like cultural transmission. I think that's probably the answer. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, animals don't have inbuilt language either.
True. It always annoys me when people think that humans are a totally blank slate, because then, like, why can't chimpanzees speak English then? Like, isn't it something about our brain that when you speak English to us, we learn it, and chimps don't learn it? So isn't that something innate to us, that we have the capacity to learn language when you talk to us?
Did you ever hear of the controversy with what's the name now? I forgot, but it's an Aboriginal tribe. You can look them up. Apparently, they don't have a word for God. They don't have a God concept. The Paraha. That's it. Yeah, you can look them up. So people were arguing over it. Number one, philosophically, because all the Christians who believe, like, you come, or the Muslims, you say you have the fitra. They were getting pissed off because it kind of like flew in the face of that. But also the linguists were also getting interested in it because they were saying that
it's impossible, or there was like an argument between Chomsky and some other guy, the guy who discovered it, because Chomsky was saying something to the effect of like, you need to have
recursion.
What was that?
I think so. You need to have recursion.
Recursion, is that what it means? Right, yeah, recursion, something like that. And what does it mean? It refers back to itself?
Yeah.
Right, so if it doesn't have that, it would be like the first language they ever discovered that didn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, so you like, I don't know how much I believe the original reports of the extreme anomalousness of the Baraha. I don't know. I mean, but it's been many years since I've looked into it, so maybe it's less controversial now than it was then. Because, I mean, according to the original reports, it's like missing a gazillion different features that seemed universal. So one of them is like essentially really any kind of counting. Like you could say many or few or a lot or a little. But you couldn't say like 3 or 4. You couldn't say, there was no way to express like proximity or distance in the future or past alone. You can only say like it's nearby in time rather than it's nearby in time. You know, it's a few minutes away or a few minutes back or anything like that. The compositionality thing means like essentially you can't have arbitrarily nested clauses. So you can't say like Bob's, uncles, friends, dogs, dog sitters, house or whatever like that. Like it could only go to like, one layer of depth or something. There's like 1,000 other things like that. It's kind of unbelievable.
The idea that you couldn't have, like, what does it even mean to say that they don't have like recursion? Like, what? How could they not have like a nesting? Like Bob's dog's friend.
It was something to the effect of, Mark will probably say it better than I will, but it's something to the effect of like, they lived so in the moment that they didn't know how to like, they didn't care to talk about things that were not like immediate.
Well, I mean, that's more of a sort of psychological explanation. But I mean, I think he was just asking about, the pure linguistics of the grammar of their language. And I mean, I just don't think that they had, like, again, I don't really know how real any of this is. But they just didn't have, like, the sort of genitive construction, like the word of, that allows you to sort of arbitrarily, link things together in arbitrary chains.
The idea that,
and that's just one thing, like, lots and lots of, stacked possessive or, genitives, like, the friend of the father, of the acquaintance, of the boss, of blah. That's just one kind of recursion. There's many, many other kinds of recursion, at least in English. He believed that, they said that, the president believed that, yada, 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 like all of that is totally missing. Lots of other stuff.
But how could they not have belief and stuff like that?
Like, no, they do, and that's, it's not that they don't have the concept of belief. In fact, apparently, like, epistemology was baked into the grammar of their language. So, like, just as we mark words for, person or number, they apparently marked verbs for, like, the level of degree of belief, which is interesting. Or not exactly that, or maybe that, but also, like, how they came to know something, like, if it's something that they directly experienced versus if it's just hearsay or something they're speculating. Those all have, like, different grammatical constructions,
which is fucking awesome,
or inflections. Yeah, but I mean, there are many, many, many different kinds of recursion, and it was according to the anthropologists who first studied the Baraha, they were missing extremely large numbers of them.
I heard that they just didn't really believe in God, and the reason why they didn't believe in God is like, oh, did you see God? And they're like he's like, no. And he's like, oh, then what? why should I believe in that they had like a really strong, just intuitive sense of like, unless you can give the exact chain of how you know about it, that doesn't like really matter what you say.
I feel like these guys are my bros. Imagine though, there's like one Paraha who's like super philosophical, and he like tries to tell his friends like, yeah, you know about like my sister's second cousin, brother's uncle, twice removed or whatever, and they're like, dude, this guy's out of it. They probably think he's a shaman or something.
There's a sense in which they could be like really smart and be like just because their grammar makes them be attended to epistemology, they're like more skeptical of shit because they always have to pay attention to they're just forced to think about their level of confidence. Like that's one thing going on. But another thing that's going on is that they're just like too stupid to fool. So it's like you try to convince them of God, and they're like, what's this abstract God bullshit? Like I just know about apples and food and sex and like it's like another way you could just be an atheist.
There appears to be some like critical window for numeracy that, in the same way there's probably the anthropologist talked about how adult Piraha who started to try to trade, with more modern, I guess you'd say, cultures, would just like constantly get swindled because.
No, you want to be with people who understand you, who you kick it with, or whatever. That's all I'm saying. I don't friends. Your best friend will be there when your husband divorces you. Your best friend will be there when your wife cheats on you.
Hey, your best friend probably fucking your wife, but I don't know this because I'm not.
Some people got around you.
Sage, I'm just an honest person, and I ain't gonna throw that jacket on nobody. So, hey, look, hey, Anthony.
Mark, has anyone combined fuzzy logic with relevance logic?
I have no idea.
Because that seems like really awesome to be like both of those seem really cool to me. So like that would just be the logic system I use all the time. Because it pisses me off the fact that logic can't handle fuzz, or the fact that you can say stupid shit like like the guy farted, therefore Germany has a river. Like I hate.
I don't know. I'm not sure how difficult they are to integrate. In part because I've never looked at fuzzy logic, and I've only glancingly looked at relevance logic.
You looked at it, but you couldn't see it.
All right, I should mark the connotation of that.
No, it's okay.
Timothy, I came back to tell him that it's got really busy here, so I ate my words.
Sam, you remember before we were talking about the probability of a deistic God?
Yeah. I was like, I can give you my answer to the problem of evil if you want.
Oh, sure. Yeah, then I'll ask you afterwards, yeah.
Alright, so my answer to the problem of evil is just two assumptions. One is that God makes whole universes. And by whole universes, it means every fact about a universe, from like the Big Bang to the end of the universe, like the whole thing, the whole enchilada. That's what God makes. Okay. And the second sort of principle is that if you have two universes that have all identical properties in every respect, that it's just the same universe. So you can't like duplicate universes, as in like if you made a universe that had all of our properties, which would be this universe. So what God does is he makes like all of the perfect universes that have nothing, no pain, no suffering at all. And there's like an infinite number of those. But then he makes all of the universes that have like a little bit of pain, because like, you know, imagine a universe where everyone is in bliss, but then one guy gets like his it's a paper cut. Well, we should probably still make that universe, because like all those beings in that universe get to exist, and it's like better that they exist than they don't, just because there's one paper clip, or paper cut. And so God just makes all of the universes that are sort of like on net good, that they pass some threshold of good. So there's like 3 categories: perfect universes, good universes, and bad universes. And God makes none of the bad ones. But like we just happen to be in a universe that like in total is good. And that you go, okay, why did the Holocaust happen? It's like, okay, if there was no Holocaust, that would have just been a different universe. And God did make that universe. So it's not like an either or, it's a both. That God thought that both the universe without a Holocaust and the universe with a Holocaust are both good universes. So you can get both of them. And one of the strong intuition pumps for this view is that like you wouldn't press a button to destroy this universe. So like neither would God. God didn't want to destroy this universe. He made it. So that's why there's a universe, because it's better that it exists than it doesn't. And
so let me steal, man, make sure I understood you. You're saying that, are you making the analogy that the Holocaust in our universe is akin to a paper cut?
Yeah. I mean, that's one sense. Yeah.
Does that seem like accurate or too stale?
No, I'm not saying that they're as much pain as each other. I'm saying that they're analogous in the sense that, like, if you took all of the suffering and all of the joy in the universe, that, like, perhaps there would be more, you know, enough bliss to outweigh the suffering in both of those universes. Like, so in both the Holocaust world and the paper cut world, they both have a universe with more joy than pain. And so he makes both of those universes because it's good that they exist.
So number one, I'm not sure if it's true. Like, even if you look at our universe right now, or just our planet, because that's what we have access to, the vast majority of life on planet Earth has been like pain, suffering, starvation, predation, stuff like that. The Holocaust is just one thing in a long line of like animals killing each other.
But you have to remember that we could end up expanding our consciousness to the stars and being like a galactic civilization full of bliss. Like, that could happen. So, like, if that were to happen, it'd be very obvious that it was worth, like, the amount of bliss outweighs the suffering, because it's just like you'd have like quadrillions of humans living really pleasant lives.
Well, I mean, number one, I think the odds are that life on planet Earth goes extinct in the same way it's gone extinct for the whole past we know about. But let's say you're right. Let's say that you could get this like state of affairs where life was like all super enlightened and super conscious and in computers or whatever, and happy and blissful and orgasmic. So even so under this view, are you saying that the Holocaust justifies itself because we will eventually reach the state of affairs?
Well, it's more like this. If you were about to go into Auschwitz, would you press a button to destroy this entire universe to avoid that state of affairs?
For me personally?
Yeah.
It depends on what was going to happen to me there. Like, if I was just going to be like shot in 1 second, no pain, versus like be tortured.
Okay, let's put it a different way. Do you think it would have been a good thing that one of these Jews destroyed the entire universe? Would that have been good that happened?
I'm not like, I don't know if it would be good, but I wouldn't blame them to prevent their own like extreme suffering. If they pressed the button, I would kind of understand why they were doing it.
Yeah, I understand why they would be doing it, but I don't think they should do it. I think it would be a very evil act to destroy all the people and all over the planet just because you're going to have a really bad time.
Well,
So-
when you press the button, it just kills everything like painlessly, right? Nobody suffers.
Yeah. It's just the universe is blinked out of existence.
Yeah. So is that? I mean, that's the way in this argument you're kind of looking at it, that like the goods are sufficient to justify. But I mean, if that's the logic, right? Then there is nothing you couldn't justify. Like whatever horrific. I mean, even Sam, you like futurism stuff, right? Like even in the future, if we have like insane, like minds in vats being like tortured nonstop, by AI computers, you'd be like, yeah, this is actually justified because we can get to a place where everyone's not being tortured, so it's still good. Like what would it not justify? I guess that's the question. It kind of seems unfalsifiable because by you, every single horrific thing you could see in the universe would be justifiable.
Yeah, I mean,
So, I mean, the point is to, as I understand it, is to defuse the problem of evil. So, as long as it's not too implausible that the overall axiological value of the universe is positive, then that theodicy is going, the point of theodicy is to say that the plausibility of theism isn't too low.
I mean, for you, Mark, does that seem, does Sam's defense seem reasonable to you? Like, I mean, doesn't it seem unfalsifiable?
Well, unfalsifiable, perhaps, but just the point is to ask ourselves, should we take the presence of extremely large amounts of evil or suffering or what have you to be extremely strong evidence against the existence of a god of classical theism? And it seems plausible that this kind of theodicy is reason to discount that inference. I mean, the theodicy has extremely wild consequences. Essentially, it implies that essentially every kind of exotic universe will exist, no matter how bizarre, as long as it's overall good, even by a tiny amount. Many people are uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, Sam, one other thing. If the God is good or sufficiently powerful, why is he needing to create all these universes? Why couldn't he just create the perfect one for once?
He's going to say because he does create all the perfect ones, all the really, really, really obscenely good ones, but then he kind of runs out of them. And so he has to go to the almost perfect ones, and then he creates all those, and then he creates all the almost perfect ones, and so forth, until he gets to until he exhausts all of the worlds that are slightly in the black in terms of goodness.
Well, I mean, I'll wait. Sam, you there? Maybe he's coming back. But the point is that if you do that, right, it still leaves open the question: why don't you just create one? Like, just create the perfect one.
So the underlying premise is that there's something like kind of linearity of value, like two people being happy is better than just one person being happy. If it's the same amount of happiness per person in each scenario. So two universes of happy people are better than just one universe of happy people. And in fact, one universe of extraordinarily happy people is less good than one universe of extraordinarily happy people plus a different universe of moderately good happy people. And it's supposed to be just the same principle as just saying inside of a universe, having one really happy person plus one moderately happy person, that's better than just one really happy person.
But isn't this like kind of maybe I'm misusing the term, but isn't it kind of like a utility monster? Like God's eventually creating like hell realms because having like an infinite number of like perfect, good, and then hellish realms are better than just having an infinite number of perfect and good realms.
Well, if hell realm means like overall bad, overall hellish, then that is not better. Then a heaven realm plus a hell realm is not better than a heaven realm. But if by hell realm you mean a world that involves a lot of horrible shit and lots of torture, as long as it's counterbalanced by even greater bliss or whatever else you think is good, then yeah, it's gonna involve a lot of those worlds, and in fact, all of those worlds still will be actualized by God.
Sorry, Sam, were you awake?
I think I fell asleep. I don't know how long I was asleep for, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's okay. Sure, yeah, we can. I can continue when you're awake.
Yeah, I'm awake, bro. What's up?
No, it was just that regarding your theodicy. If that was there a reason you felt that the God has to create all these things also, as opposed to just like saying, okay, I'll just create the perfect universe and that's it?
Yeah, because if they don't have the property where when you repeat them, they duplicate, they become within the universe, then God would just make all of the perfect universes over and over. But if he doesn't have that option, then it seems like he would make all the universes that are good. And then there's just one basic intuition is if you were perfect, would you make some good stuff that wasn't perfect just because it was good that it existed for its own sake?
I mean, I'm an imperfect being. I would think that God doesn't need to create because he's so satisfied and peaceful himself. He doesn't do things for entertainment or boredom.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you have this type of God, yeah, maybe you could try a defense of it, but it certainly flies in the face of other qualities of the God that are generally attributed to the classical God of deism or theism. One more question about probabilities. Remember about the probability of saying fine tuning, or could we look at anything physical in the universe to point to a God? Let's say I look out and the stars spell out your name or my name, something. So I was thinking a lot about this since we talked, and the question was, how do you tell the difference between God spelling out your name in the stars versus just quantum fluctuations and Boltzmann brains or whatever? And I think I have a way that I can kind of tell you the reason why I can't believe in a God, even if my name were spelled out in stars. And my question to you would be this. If you saw your name spelled out in stars, Sam, hi Sam, this is God, and it literally spelled out your address, said, I love you, living out, whatever. Would you be convinced that that is evidence that a God exists in some sense?
A little bit as evidence. It wouldn't be enough to move me, but a little bit, yeah.
Could you give me a quantifier, 0 to 100? How convinced are you?
Describe his what's his main arguments?
I'm sorry?
It depends on what his arguments are, but my guess would be that it'd be 10% or 20% more reliable.
Okay. Now let's say I'll continue the analogy by saying let's say there are 10 different star systems that he spells things out, and each one gets progressively weirder. The first one is just hey Sam, I love you. The second one is hey Sam, don't drink alcohol. The third one is hey Sam, don't have sex outside of marriage. And then it gets progressively weirder until the 10th is Sam, you need to kill your firstborn son for me. So I'm assuming you would not listen to the 10th one. I know you wouldn't listen to the 10th one. So the question becomes, why would you not listen to the 10th one?